Hello everyone. 2 nights ago, Thwaite ran off into the woods when he was on his walk, and he wouldn't come back. And it was getting dark, which is the worst time, because that's when he searches after interesting smells and tries to pick up a trail. Anyway, then we heard him barking, and his bark was the kind of noise that he makes when he's agitated. So the pitch goes up. It's quite a high-pitched bark. And he was barking a lot. And it sounded as if he was running and barking. So we thought, well, there's nothing to do until he calms down a bit. Then he might come back. And then we heard a fox. And it was the old dog fox, which has a very deep bark. And he just gives one bark every 7 seconds or thereabouts. And he sounds majestic and angry. And then we heard the two barks going together, Thwaite's agitated bark and the old dog fox sounding really cross and aggressive. We thought, oh dear, this could be it, because Thwaite's just a little dog, as you know, and the fox is quite a lot bigger. And this was the local chief of foxes. We knew that. Anyway, Jane went off into the woods, and eventually she came back with Thwaite. And he arrived back in our garden, and he just collapsed on the grass. And he was panting and breathing very heavily. And also he was licking his paw on his right back leg a lot, which means that he'd hurt it. So after a while, when he'd calmed down, I said to Thwaite, what were you doing there? He said, I cleared the pests out of this garden. And I said, well, yes, you do. And you do an important job there, because you don't allow anybody in. We used to get foxes and deer and loads of rabbits in the garden, and they did a lot of damage, and you stopped all that. But this time, Thwaite, you weren't in the garden, were you? He's been very brave, so I'm giving him a biscuit. And you said, no, I was taking the conflict to the enemy. Have you never heard of Operation Overlord on D-Day? That's when we took the conflict to the enemy in 1944. And I said, well, Thwaite, was it really like that? We had the Home Guard, and I can see that you are like the Home Guard. You hang around in the garden, and if you find anybody coming in, even a squirrel or a ferret or something like that, you chase them off, and you don't care about your own safety. You just go for them, and they take the hint. Yes, said Thwaite, I'm glad you noticed that, because now I'm giving them a bigger hint. I'm telling them to keep well clear of here. And so that's why I'm going out into the woods, and I'm not having any nonsense. And I said, well, Thwaite, you're a person who takes their job extremely seriously, and that's very good. But we worry about you getting hurt, because some of the animals out in the woods, like badgers, they're fierce. And deer, they're not fierce, but they're big. And then we've got foxes. Now, foxes are not brave animals. They're quite cowardly, actually. But if they find that they're on top, then they are fearsome killers. And we don't want you killed. Well, said Thwaite, thank you for your concern. But actually, I think that I've got a better attitude than the foxes have, because I'm prepared to take a bit of a risk in order to frighten them off. So when you heard that big fox barking, it was barking because it was on the retreat. And I'm looking after you. Oh, I said, Thwaite, you're a remarkable person because you're just a small dog, and yet you think of looking after us and keeping us clear of trouble in our garden. He said, it's just what I do. You know, it's just me. So I said, well, Thwaite, I don't think I should preach at you because you have such a superior attitude and you are prepared to take risks and you don't mind too much about danger. Oh, said Thwaite, well, thank you for noticing that, but actually I do mind about biscuits. So could I have another one, please? And I didn't feel able to say no.